What is going on? I hope everyone's alright. Happy hump day. Although, honestly, today's been a struggle. Getting up this morning, waking up and opening my eyes was probably the hardest thing that I've had to do all week. It was not enjoyable in the slightest. Nor, actually, have some of these moves this morning been. On the European Open, we've seen couple of pairs kick on. I was Euro Oz short, and that's seen a massive push to the upside. I was also just been triggered into a pound New Zealand short from a pending order that has almost immediately flown 40 pips the other way. So got some decisions to make this morning on how to approach the day. Not the ideal situation. I was also looking at a pound yen, and that has done a similar thing, kicked on this morning. There's no real reasons for them either. There's nothing that's come out in the media, there's nothing that's been said. So I just want to run through this morning, see if there's any real significance behind it, any real reason behind these moves. So I just want to come out to the higher time frames. I'm just going to clear everything off. I just want to see if there's anything that I've missed around this region that has caused the moves to the upside that I can potentially learn from. I don't necessarily feel like there was too much that has been missed. Like, I don't think I've missed anything, but you just never know. Is there a region through here? That's not what's caught me though. I got caught at 1990, so previous resistance support through here, do you reckon? Just let my computer catch up. It's only just been woken up, so he's a little bit tired like the rest of us. Whenever you're ready. And we really see that we're just sat range bound at the moment with the pair. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's that previous resistance, but it doesn't even act as previous support. And that's what I was trying to get by low. It looks like the entry's just been poorly timed. You can see we had like a sharp drop that's just dropped in, triggered it, and then gone back. Let's just have a little look. 4 hours failed to make the high, but have created a higher low. So if we fail to break above the highs at 50, that's going to be the real test for us here. Is trying to get above the 50 region. Hopefully we see some rejection from here. At least back down to entry. It'd be quite nice to not lose 40 pips first thing in the morning. The thing with the pound at the minute as well, like, it's just caught in consolidation. And I do see the upside to it, and we'll take a look in a minute. I want to look at Euro USD and Pound USD. But at the moment, you can see like there's nothing really going on. It's just a consolidation zone. To really like get above, you need to get above 92. Once 92 goes, then yeah, you've got that 300 pip long. That's brilliant. But it would be foolish to take a long as things stand at the minute. There's nothing there that really dictates that that is the most logical scenario or the most logical thing to be doing. So it's when something like that doesn't make the most sense, like it just seems silly to be involved in such a position. So yeah, we shall keep an eye on it. I mean, it's pretty clear and it's pretty obvious the reasons behind it. It's pretty clear and it's pretty obvious that we've got that support region, and just getting spiked into it was a bit unfortunate. I think I'd literally set the order at 10 past 7 and I was triggered into it by 20 past. In hindsight, I should have just brought it down to 80, but you live and learn. Pound yen obviously was short from the 50 level and closed that. Took a short again yesterday from 25 when it looked like we were seeing a new swing form. And then I obviously got caught in that, stopped out at 60 for 35 pips. So not an ideal day, to be honest. So far looking at about a 1% loss, which isn't terrible. Don't really mind that, but I would prefer not to be on the losing end of positions. Pound yen, there's nothing now until 45. Do I think 45 will go? I can see very little reason as to why 145 doesn't get broken today. It doesn't bode well for Pound New Zealand, does it? What am I looking for? EuroCAD? No, definitely ain't happening now, is it? Let's be honest. Euros, we're sat at that level now. CAD yen, couldn't care any less about anymore. Get rid of that. I do see us breaking above. I do, however, think below 25 again, or 30. 144.30 would give ourselves a short potential, which we can obviously take advantage of also. So we shall wait and see either that pop above 145 or the short below 144.30 with pound yen. Euro yen, obviously we did hit target, so that's irrelevant. In fact, let's just get rid of it. Don't live in that. Rejected away from 50, which we saw yesterday. Push back to the upside. Not really an entry until 127 goes. I do really like the fact that we've seen this lower high. Similar to the pound pairs though, we've seen this higher low come into play. That's not an ideal situation at all. So if we can break back below the lows at 40, then 125.50, 125.80 should be found relatively comfortable from there. But we do just need to get below 126.40 for that to happen, or above 127.20. Yeah, definitely 127.20. I mean, 127 would be enough. but it would make sense to let the 20 region go and just to get above these highs, close above these spikes before entering any long position from there. The 4 hours looks quite nice for the drop, however the micro picture doesn't look quite so promising. Like I say, we'll manage it 127.20 or below 126.40. Dollar CAD has obviously seen price kick on. I know that for the trade plan group, you guys had an entry sent out at 127.40. So with that, you're about 60 pips in profit. Should be risk free by now. If we can break back below, then we will be looking to take a short position to the downside on the pair. Targeting 124.50 like we've spoken about previously. We should definitely see that happen at some point in the near future, I would have thought. So yeah, we will keep an eye on US dollar CAD for that potential drop below. As far as I'm aware, dollar CPI at 130, so it'd be nice to be risk free before that comes into play. Fairly confident that the pound GDP hasn't been released just yet. I haven't had a notification for that. So yeah, a drop in, we've seen that spike into the previous consolidation, a drop back below, give us a typical breakout entry, which obviously will be greatly appreciated for that continuation and that push down into 126. Then obviously 124.50 from there, like we have been discussing. We do, as I say, just need to get back below at the moment, and that is proving relatively long and problematic at the moment. So we do just need to be cautious of that. The pushback from here also, the drive up, doesn't seem too out of the question either. So we just be a little bit mindful. Euro CAD. Obviously, we've seen from Euro Yen this morning strength come into the Euro, and from Euro Oz. Some strength come into the Euro upon the European Open. Obviously, we're rejecting previous highs here. So a push back towards the highs at 54.20 would seem the most logical scenario at the moment. Unless, of course, we can break back below 80. From 80, I would be relatively content at looking for a short position down to 153.40, 153.20, which is obviously the original area we were targeting for a potential breakout scenario. So we shall see how things progress and play through this morning. Euro CAD, the euro and the pound in general, we've either seen sharp impulse moves that are just fresh like liquidity flooding into the market, and we'll either see those corrected by around about 10 o'clock, or we will see price can just continue and really kick on. So we'll see what happens there. Below 80, I would be comfortable with a short. Above 54.20, we would be looking for long positions. Euro as we fired back into 56.70, which is obviously the area that we've been talking about. The shorts below 56.50 make a lot of sense now. A break back below that consolidation zone would see a push down. The only reason that I am even remotely against this at the moment is because of the potential for Euro USD and the potential for Pound USD. It makes me a little bit nervous when we're looking at pound pairs and euro pairs at the moment. the potential for strength in those is pretty significant. However, we're at quite a key level. If we can reject and stay below 156.80, then I'd see little reason as to why the downside doesn't continue with EUR/AUD. Let's just go through. Daily looks relatively good for it. Yesterday's close not ideal. 4 hours we're just sat in consolidation, which we know. Break above 80 would see us pretty much clear of that. So as I say, the push back to the upside. Above 57, obviously take longs. Below 56.50 we would take shorts. So we've got about a 30 pip window at the moment where we are looking for potential positions. Pound New Zealand, we've already just spoken about. Gold, we're just flitting around, not really doing a lot. Definitely prefer upside potential to gold as things stand. Euro USD, just gonna run through very quickly, put some levels in. For potential upside, potential downside. See, we've come back in, use this previous resistance as support to help drive the upside above 120. I can't help but think 122.20 is the area that we need to be mindful of. So above 121.50, which is obviously where we were looking for shorts away from last week, and positions away from. So a break back above that level would clearly see us break back in and see long positions up, I would imagine, into 122.20, somewhere around these previous highs, before then seeing potential upside from there. We've clearly seen quite a large drive up, and the dollar doesn't seem set to push on and gain some strength anytime soon at the moment. So we will need to just see how things progress and how things continue to move on the pair. Above 21.50 makes the most sense, as long as we don't see a sharp rejection away from that. Also, pound dollar, I mean, we've already seen this morning that pair has kicked right up. Seen a massive push to the upside with the pair, so we do just need to be mindful. Obviously at 138 we've seen this double bar formation before, area of significance. Next area then we would come into is probably quite likely, we'll probably bring that lower actually. $143.30, or obviously the rejection away sees us back down to 134, and these previous zone through here. Come into the daily. Looks absolutely fine. Come into the 4 hours. See that push initially from there. So if we reject from the highs at 138.70 or 138.80, somewhere around that region, then a push down to 37.80 or 37.50 is quite likely. However, it's obviously the breakout to the upside that we are anticipating most. If we see that break to the upside, pull back and return, then we will take the positions up to 143. So there's a lot of potential for the US dollar to continue its little run. I think that would be 4 days straight for it to take an absolute hammering. So we do just need to be a little bit mindful of that at the moment. Actually, I don't want to change the chart back. We do just need to be mindful of that at the moment, and the fact that we could see some strength come into the dollar again at some point. It's just a little unclear as to when. Pound New Zealand rejected nicely. That's what we like to see. Euro Oz also. So there are potential positions all over the place today. Certainly within the currency pairs that we have been focusing on predominantly this week. So there should be little to no reason to not find a position today. It just depends on what that might be. But yeah, I hope everyone has a decent day. As I say, there are a few fundamentals up today. The dollar CPI is the most significant. And then obviously Bank of England speeches and Fed chair speeches this evening. But those are a little way off coming to fruition just yet. So we shall see what happens. The GDP estimate is going to be relatively important to keep an eye on, just because of the significance that we have seen surrounding the monetary policy report that was out last week, and then pinning predominant hopes on seeing quite a sharp increase in GDP. So the initial estimates will be extremely interesting to see, and probably hold a reasonable amount of insight into what we will potentially see later in the month when GDP reports do come out. Be sensible, be safe. I hope everyone's good, and we'll catch up with people at a later